Was popping. Oh man, my girlfriend said I couldn't do a smolder, but I tried anyways. Let me know what you think. What is up, everybody? She gave me a funny look. Welcome to Trades. We give technical analysis on different stocks in the stock market, as well as potential buy, hold, or sell opinions on these given stocks. I'd like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Let's get into the video. Today we're going to be looking at ticker symbol TRCH. You can see it up here in the top left for everybody that is wondering. Torchlight. Man, this has been a stock that's been very heavily requested by quite a few people, and I'm actually really excited to talk about this stock today. It's got a lot of potential, I think. So the chart setup is looking beautiful. We're gonna look at the fundamentals of the company, the why. I don't currently have a position in this stock, to be completely transparent. I will consider taking a position heavily, but we will take a look at the company to give you guys an overview of what you may want to look at, what you might not like, right? The pros and the cons. So we're gonna look at the fundamentals of the company, recent news, right? Some sort of catalyst that is explaining why we're seeing this huge run up in price action. And then we're gonna look at the charts, the meat and potatoes, my favorite. So this is a 1 month chart as well as the 1 day, 1 minute chart to give both a macroscopic and microscopic perspective of the price action. I've got a couple different indicators pulled up here. I'm going to walk you through them if you don't know. The RSI is down here on the bottom. That is the relative strength index. Anything over 70 is overbought. Anything under 30 is oversold. This is an idea of both bullish and bearish momentum. Gives you an idea of how much buying or selling pressure there is. And then we've got the 200 EMA, which is this purple trend line, and the 15-day MA, which is this blue trend line. The 200 EMA is the exponential moving average. And this is a price action based valuation trend line over a 200-day moving period, which gives us a macroscopic perspective of overall price action. And then the 15-day MA is the moving average. Some brokerage accounts call this the SMA, the simple moving average. This is a price action based valuation trend line over a 15-day moving period, which gives us a microscopic perspective of price action. We use these both side by side so we can get an idea of when you're having breakouts or breakdowns in comparison to overall price action over a long-term period, right? To give us the best possible entry points and exit points in a stock. We're going to drop a Fibonacci retracement, get an idea of how strong we have, how much strength we have from buyers and sellers in the stock, give you some potential entry points, some exit points. I personally think that Torchlight has the most potential as a midterm investment at this very given moment. But let's just get into the video. So, what do these guys do? What is the why? Torchlight Energy Resources Incorporated is an energy company. The company is engaged in the acquisition, exploration, exploitation, and/or development of oil and natural gas properties in the United States. The company is primarily focused on the acquisition of early-stage projects, the development and delineation of these projects, and then the monetization of those assets once these activities are completed. Torchlight has interest in 4 oil and gas projects: the Oro Grande project in Hudspeth County, Texas, the Hazel project in Sterling, Tom Green, and Irion. I'm probably saying all this stuff wrong. Oh, man. In Irion counties, Texas. The Winkler Project in Winkler County, Texas. And the Hunting Wells in partnership with Husky in Central Oklahoma. Hey, hometown, baby. The company operates its business through its subsidiaries, including Torchlight Energy Incorporated, Torchlight Energy Operating, LLC, Hudspeth Oil Corporation, Torchlight Hazel, LLC, and Warwink Properties, LLC. I do have their website pulled up here really quick, so we are going to take a quick peek at what these guys look like. And you can see right here, they've got oil drilling and working interest in oil projects. So the reason I think this company maybe is a midterm company, is because as of now, we do see a really hard push in terms of clean energy with Joe Biden in office. So companies like Fuel Cell, Plug Power, we've got, CLNE, Clean Energy, right? All these companies are doing extremely, extremely well. Clean Spark is another one that comes to mind. And this is more of that old school, use of energy resources. So you can see here they've got the oil drilling and working interest in oil projects. And there does seem to be quite a bit of investor sentiment towards this stock, which is important, right? It doesn't matter what personally I think of a company. I do think well of them, right? I'm going to get into more of why. But it matters what the majority thinks. And if the majority of investors are bullish on a stock, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what I've always said, my friends. And it does look like there's some solid potential here. So, Torchlight Energy Resources Incorporated, based in Plano, Texas, is a high-growth oil and gas exploration and production company with a primary focus on acquisition and development of highly profitable domestic oil fields. The company currently holds interest in Texas, where their targets are established, plays such as the Permian Basin and the Eagle Ford Shale. So they've got 3 different current projects. They've got the Midland Basin, so we can just check this out really quick. They've got about 12,000 gross acres, 100% of which will be operated. So that's a very large amount of land to cover. And then 75% net revenue interest is what really catches my eye here. You always want to look at how much net revenue a company is pulling in. So that's just one particular basin that they're working with. They've also got the Oro Grande Basin, which we'll pull up here really quick. The Oro Grande, Torchlight owns 72.5% working interest in full, about 134,000 net acre unit. The more land you can cover as an oil and gasoline company, right, the better off the company is going to be doing, right? So that's a pretty decent amount of land. And then Delaware Basin, we've got about 1,100 gross acres, 10.72% Wisconsin non-operated. We can look at 10,000 foot laterals can be drilled as well as 5,000 foot laterals, which is just different perspectives on how they're going to be drilling this oil, getting the oil out of the ground, right? And as of now, right, clean energy is making a good move, but we haven't gotten to the point now where, even 10%, 20%, 30% of cars or, usable energy in the United States is clean energy, right? We're not quite there yet. It's going to get there, right? It's just a matter of time in my perspective. But as of now, this company is still alive and well. There is some potential with Torchlight. I do think they've got some solid growth potential as a company. And something I always pay very close attention to, my friends, is institutional ownership, right? How many institutions are buying in? Where's the big money going? So I've got some different, resources pulled up here that I want to walk you through. We've got the most recent, institutional ownership in the company. This is posted as of, February 11th, 2021. I want to give you both the pros and the cons. This is a con. This is a big con. Ionic Ventures LLC now owns 0 shares. They sold out every single piece of stake that they had in the company, and that is a little bit significant. That's a little bit significant. So if we look at the charts here, I'm actually surprised to see this, but on the 11th, we actually saw, the price went down a little bit, but it moved very, very nicely after this, right? So that's a lot of retail investors getting into the stock. And we're going to talk about the chart setup here a little bit more once we come back to it. But there are some good signs that I see here on the charts in relation to, investor sentiment. But that's a big red flag to me. I don't personally like to see, a big institution pulling out their stake in a company. This was updated on February 11th, which have been 3 days ago or so. But we do still have some nice institutional ownership here as long as they haven't sold, right? And this is, from my understanding at least, still relevant information. But we see here, as of 2020, it would have been October 13th, McGabe Gregg increased their overall stake in the company to 17.6 million shares, about 17% ownership in the company, right? We've got Entheon Management with about 2.4%. We've got Moratti David with 5%. 5.4% here, 13.54% here. And it's not, we can't know for sure if all these companies still own a stake in the company, but what we can do is come over here to Ortex. Now, Ortex is a website that I personally pay about $500 a year for the most up-to-date statistics, information, and numbers regarding different companies. And I do have Torchlight pulled up here. So if we want to look at the overall insiders, owning, right? This isn't institutional. This is a little bit different, but we can see that as of what would have been December 18th of 2020, McGabe Gregory, chairman of the board, did get a pretty nice stake in the stock. Transaction value was about 750,000 US dollars, 1.63 million total shares at 0.46 cents, right? So 46 cents in the company. So he is up a freaking astronomical amount on Torchlight, which is absolutely beautiful. We do see there are a couple other pretty decent stakes in here. 135,000 US dollars from Shockey Eunice Lawrence Jr., who is the director, and then the COO has a U.S. value of about 0 right here. So transaction value of 0, 502,000 shares at 0 U.S. dollars. So I'm not quite sure how that works. The exercise is low here, buy medium here, right? So that's pretty decent. That's pretty good to see. And when you do see insiders buying into the company, when you don't see insider ownership or you see insiders sell out of the company, right? That typically indicates that there might be some bad things happening in terms of management, in terms of potential for growth, right? They do know a lot more about the company than we do as people because they get first insider view on the news catalyst, on the financial situation, on different projects they're working on, right? So it's good to see that at least as of December 18th, the chairman of the board does, he increased his overall stake in the company. So that's what we're looking at right now. The overall institutional ownership, as it sits, I would guess is about 20%, but we do have a news article pulled up here that is going to talk about that more in depth. So this was posted on February 12th, which would have been 2 days ago, and we're just going to take a quick read through here right now. So Torchlight Energy Resources Incorporated shares price shot up 62.2% during trading on Wednesday. The stock traded as high as $3.14 and last traded at $2.60. 275 million shares were traded during trading, an increase of 1,103% from the average session volume of 22.9 million shares. The stock had previously closed at $1.60. Market cap of $270 million, PE ratio of negative 11.3, and a beta of 2.6. The company has a quick ratio of 0.11, etc., etc. So this is what I want to pay more attention to. In other news, director Greg McGabe, which we did just talk about, purchased 1.6 million shares of the business's stock in a transaction dated Friday, December 18th. The shares were purchased at an average price of 46 cents per share for a total transaction of $749,000. Following the completion of the purchase, the director now owns 11.8 million shares in the company, valued at approximately $5.47 million. That is a large stake, my friends. That is a huge number and very important to pay attention to. The purchase was disclosed in a document filed with the SEC, which is available at this link. Company insiders own 17.49% of the company's stock. That is just insiders buying. That is different from the institutionals, right? That comes from the management within a company. That's a very big number. That is very significant. Whenever you see anything above 10% for either insiders or institutional ownership, that's something you want to pay attention to. And that means that there's a lot of good sentiment coming from within the company, within the management. And I think that's a very positive sign without a doubt. An institutional investor recently bought a new position in Torchlight Energy Resources stock. Journey Advisory Group LLC acquired a new stake in shares of Torchlight Energy Resources during the fourth quarter, according to the company in its most recent disclosure with the SEC. The firm acquired 40,000 shares of the oil and gas company stock, valued at approximately $28,000, which is 6.31% of the stock is currently owned by institutional investors and hedge funds. So at least as of February 12th, we can see that somewhere around 23% of the company is owned by either institutionals or insider, investors, which is a pretty significant number. And I'd say, like I said, anything over 10% for both of these sides of things is a good sign that you are having some good things happen with a company. So I'm very happy to see that without a doubt. The only thing that I don't particularly like, as I'd mentioned prior, is that we do see there was a company that actually got out, which is Ionic Ventures LLC, now has a 0 share stake in the company. So that's what we're looking at right here, right? We know the insides, we know the why, we know what they're doing. I'm going to pull them back up here. So, we know that they're an oil and gas company. We know they're based out in Texas. We know the potential for growth is going to come from how much land they can drill on, right? How much oil and gas they can produce. And, we get the premise of the company. The financial situation, if we take a quick look at their annual reports, we can see their overall gross profit in 2019 was pretty red, down about 38% from the previous year. But otherwise, macroscopically speaking, they have been slowly but surely increasing their overall gross profit, which is pretty decent, right? We see 861,000 in 2013, it goes up and down. We see 4.29 million here, 820,000 here, 25,000 here, 397,000 here, right? So macroscopically speaking, if you take 2013 out of the picture, at least the last couple of years, right, they have been slowly but surely growing. So that is something that you want to pay attention to with penny stocks in particular. You're not usually investing in the previous growth. You're investing in the potential for growth, which is why the risk to reward ratio is so high, right? So that is how we're looking right now with TRCH in terms of financials, in terms of, institutional ownership, numbers, data, fundamentals. So let's look at the charts, the meat and potatoes, the best possible entry point into the stock if you are looking to get a position. Like I said, I do not currently own a position. I will do some evaluating and decide if I want to do that myself, but this is just purely for you, my friends, and I just want to give you the best possible entry point if you are looking to do so. So what I'm noticing right now is that if you were able to get into this back on the 15 EMA cross over the 200 EMA, which is a bullish indicator, right? You saw this pump in volume. You would have been up really, really freaking solid. It was about $1.68, currently trading at $3.35. You'd have doubled up your money in 2 freaking days, which is astronomical. That's absolutely insane. That does not happen very often. And we're going to look at the strength of the chart setup here. So if we take a quick peek, at the Fibonacci retracement, this is very easy to do if you are interested in doing this yourself. You simply click on Fibonacci retracement, put the bottom at the base of the run-up, the top at the peak of the run-up, and it tells you a percentage of how much you give back from that initial growth. We can see that it fell somewhere between 50% and 61.8%. Typically, a good stock will retrace about 50% or less. So ideally, would have liked to see that bounce around that 50% level. But we did see a bounce right around 55, 56% or so at about $2.29 or so. So not a terrible retracement. We would like to see that happen a little bit better. But as it sits right now, we're going to give you guys an idea of how much this might pull back in the future based on that previous retracement, right? So if we have a continuation of trend and it retraces the same amount as it did previously, right? What are we going to be looking at? You would see a retracement to about here, right? And we actually already saw that happen. It was the exact same retracement as we saw with this previous, pullback down to that 229 range. It fell in that about 56, 57% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is $3.28. In terms of the RSI, as it sits right now, it's at about 68 points, which is a little bit high, right? That's a lot of buying momentum. It means that the stock is probably slightly overvalued. You might see a little pullback beneath that level of support. And if it does, where's it going to pull back to, right? What's the next level of good support for us to fall back on? Well, we do have this $3.06 or so. I wouldn't consider that a very strong level of support. We do look for at least 3 candlewick touch points, which we don't get right here, right? So we might hold there, but we might not. What I think is more realistic is if it does break beneath this level of support right here, you're going to be looking at about $2.96, which is a pretty drastic difference from where we're sitting at right now with $3.28. So if you are looking for a position, you want to establish a position in this company, it does seem like a pretty decent midterm hold company. What you're going to be looking for is either a bounce off of this level of support with a wide range candle. And a wide range candle, I'll give you guys an example really quick, is a candle that covers a lot of price action. It's a candle that gives you a nice bounce. So we can see that right here. This is a wide range candle. You get that engulfing candlestick pattern, right? That large green candle that engulfs that red candle right here, that will signify that you've bounced off of this level of support. We don't quite have that yet, right? We see the small green candle still hovering around that level of support. We're looking for that wide range bounce, and that'll indicate that this is likely the bottom. I feel pretty comfortable with you buying in at that point. But if we don't get it, right, you're more likely going to see a bounce, beneath this level of support with a wide range candle, and it'll retest $3.06 or $2.96, and that is how you're going to know what the best possible entry point is into the stock. I would be 100% content, having to pay a little bit more into this company, like instead of buying it at 328, getting it at maybe 340 or 345, so you can know that that we did get that bounce, that it wasn't a false rebound, a false bounce off of that level of support. That way you're not getting burned too bad with this stock. So like I said, I think the best possible entry point here is going to be between $2.96 and $3.06. It might not happen. I'm preparing you guys for all potential, things that could happen here with the stock. But if it retraces the same that it did here, that 57-ish% retracement on the Fibonacci, this is where it should end up bouncing from. You get a wide range candle. It should continue its overall run. So that's what we're looking like here on the 1 month chart. We do have pretty overbought territory here on the RSI. Nice gap between the 15 EMA and the 200 EMA. Extremely, extremely bullish. And I do think we actually have an ascending level of support here. So we get quite a few different touch points. This is obviously not a realistic and maintainable, level of growth, but we do have 1, 2, 3 different touch points here, and this could act as a level of support moving forward in the future. So, if you end up seeing a bounce off of this ascending level of support, that would indicate to me that there's still quite a bit of buying territory here. And another great thing that I see is this huge pump in volume. Now, one thing that I would have preferred not to see is that equal amount of red volume coming out. That probably indicates to me that, there may have been some investors that just took profits, got out right away, right? But the stock price held up pretty well. That wasn't a terrible retracement. And the volume is just barely starting to pick up here again. So I do think there is some room to run here, right? The retracements in the past, this retracement was not harsh in the least bit. I think there's definitely some, short-term swing opportunity here, as well as midterm hold opportunity as well. Coming over here to the 1 day, 1 minute chart, just to take a quick peek at the different price action that we have here. I'm going to clear out the charts. If you'd like to look at what I just wrote up on the charts, you can rewind the video and pause it and just take some notes. But what we do have here is a nice little movement. We got some nice price action and volume that happened here. We saw this huge push in volume. Volume drives volatility. Volatility is going to drive that higher price valuation. So once we did see the volume pop in here, right, it had that nice run. We see that it was in a nice upward moving channel. We got those 3 touch points right here, right, and it broke beneath this ascending level of support with a wide range candle. This is a wide range candle signifying that we broke beneath that ascending channel, right, and then it just traded sideways for a while until the after hours, in which we saw this nice push in volume. We got that nice bump in volume, which drove the volatility, and it moved pretty cleanly. We did end the day with the 15 MA gapped up over the 200 EMA, which is a sign of bullish confirmation. So we have 2 bullish confirmation indicators here on the microscopic charts as well as the macroscopic charts. So that does look extremely nice, and that is what we're looking at right now with ticker symbol TRCH. So if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It really does help support the channel, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. Lastly, I have an affiliate link in the description box down below for Webull. Webull is a brokerage platform which you're watching me use right now. This is version 4 for the desktop. It allows you to start trading in the pre-market starting at 4 a.m. up until 8 p.m. in the extended hours. If you use my link, you will get 2 free stocks with a $100 deposit. I'll receive a free stock. Great way to support the channel, my friends, and if you're not interested, that is totally fine. I just appreciate the support by taking the time to watch my videos and be a part of the freaking Gorilla Gang here, my fellow apes. So that is what I've got for you guys today. Thank you for watching, my friends, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.